4 years ago, a petty jewel thief known as Donnie Brasco began working his way up inside the mob. Last year, in a New York trial, Brasco unmasked himself. His real name? Joseph Pistone, undercover agent in the FBI.
This recording is the second part of a conversation between S.A. Joseph D. Pistone and Benny Lefty Ruggiero.
You're going to be sent for. You're going to be sent for. And I promise you one thing. Nothing's going to happen to you. Because I stuck up for you all the way. I warned you. I'm not giving you up. I'll die with you. But you know what? I want this guy's head. I got to have his head. Because he's looking for mine. I said, tell you what, Anthony, man. I get you in the car with him. I shoot him in the head. And if you're in the way, you die too. I said, I'll put 2 bullets in his eyes. And I specify what kind of a caliber it's going to be. You stop at my door, I'll shoot you right in the head. Because you're not my friend.
I said, Lefty, why do I want to get inducted? Why do I want to be a wise guy? I'm having a good time now. And he says, Donnie, you can lie, you can steal, you can cheat, you can kill, and it's all legitimate. In their world, that's all legitimate. That's the way they think.
Joe Pistone, also known as Donnie Brasco.
I was an FBI agent for 27 years, spent 6 years in an undercover capacity, infiltrated the Bonanno crime family, Mafia crime family out of New York City. They made the movie Donnie Brasco off of my book, My Undercover Life in the Mafia. I was fortunate in that the movie is probably 80 to 85% on the money, and Johnny Depp was 100% on target, as was Al Pacino. As Lefty Two Guns, Lefty was basically my mentor, so to speak, and partner in the Bonanno family. When he went out and hit, he'd like to use 2 guns. I was proposed for membership. I was going to get made in December, and the end of July of that year, we ended our operation. Basically, I grew up in Paterson, New Jersey, and I was basically a street guy. I was fortunate enough to go to college, go into naval intelligence, and I always wanted to be a cop, so once I got out of naval intelligence, I applied for the FBI and became a special agent. And being a street guy, there wasn't too much I had to learn about the street and about mobsters and gangsters. How I come up with the name Donnie Brasco is, I had read it somewhere and I liked it. And my middle name was Donald, so you know I knew I would answer to it. I just figured it was a good name to go with. When I first infiltrated the Bonanno family, Carmine Galenti was the boss of the family. And he was one of the architects of the drug importation routes for heroin into the United States. And also, he had gotten into his head that he was going to be the boss of bosses. All the families in the Mafia are ruled by the commission. The Mafia commission is basically, they have 5 families in New York and they have 5 bosses of each family, and they're all equal. You know, they might meet today and then they might not meet for 3 or 4 years. But what they do is they set the rules for the Mafia families throughout the country. Well, he wanted to go where he was 1 step above the commission. So all the bosses had to come to him to settle disputes and everything. And the other bosses, the other families, they decided he had to go. So that's why they whacked him out. They killed him. My captain, for most part, was a guy by the name of Sonny Black Napolitano. Sonny Black because he dyed his hair black. Sonny was a gangster, a real gangster. But Sonny wasn't a 24-hour gangster. And what I mean by that was, there were times when you can talk to Sonny about other things besides the mob. You know, some guys that I hung with, all they wanted to do was talk about illegal activities and about the goings-on within the family. With Sonny, I could go out, have dinner with him, or have a cup of coffee with him, and talk about other things. But he was a stone-cold gangster. You can't spend 7 days a week, you know, almost 365 days a year with guys and not have some kind of bond. But it wasn't a bond where I ever wanted to go tell them, hey, look, you know, you go on the lam because I'm an FBI agent, you know what I mean? That never happened. Because if they found, you know, they're not going to think of me as an undercover agent. They're going to think of me as an informant. In fact, they had some sit-downs over me where guys wanted to have me killed. If Sonny Black would have lost his sit-downs, I would have been killed. During the course of the undercover operation, I was given contracts to kill a couple wise guys. Of course, I never carried them out because as an FBI agent, even in an undercover capacity, you can't carry out a contract. Now, if it meant my life or the gangster's life, it definitely was going to be him. When I was proposed for membership, that's one of the things that Sonny and Lefty had to vouch, is that I was in on a hit. And they said, yeah, I was. They lied. If you have the ability to generate a lot of money, the guy that you are under, he's going to lie for you. Being into life is not fun. What I mean by that, it's a lot of work, It's because you're walking that fine line. You're dealing with criminals. You're dealing with gangsters. You're dealing with guys that are capable of killing. So every day, the existence is, do I make a mistake today that's going to get me killed? You can't be scared, because if you're scared, it'll show through and you won't get the job done. You have to be very careful, very sharp, and very cognizant of what's going on around you. I got close to Sonny, I got close to the bosses, so I had guys that were jealous of me. So what's the worst thing you'd be called in the mob? Is a rat. So I had a couple guys that didn't like me and questioned my loyalty. And since one guy was a made guy, they had to have sit-downs over it.
I had a 4.5-hour meeting about you again today.
What's with this guy?
Look, Donnie, you don't understand the ins and outs of anything.
Well, you never sit down and explain to me.
I can't explain to you.
Oh, I know you can't over the phone, but...
All right.
Who do you believe? You believe him or you believe me?
No, you can't. Your word don't count, because I'll tell you why.
Why?
Rocky already said it.
Well, just because he said it first?
Your word don't count, my man.
He's a liar and Mira's a liar.
But Donnie, you got nothing to say about it. I'm going to take it now.
I could tell you he's a liar.
One guy's going to check both of you out.
Hey, look, they got no problem checking me out.
If you did something wrong on life, it's for me to handle.
When's this thing all going to end with this guy?
It ain't going to end. See, Donnie.
What do we have to do?
This is you got to come in to see Sonny.
One day I got to the club, they call me, come in the back room, we got something to discuss. I go in the back room, and I get grilled for like 6 hours, about my whole background. And, the main thing as an undercover, you can't sweat. If you start sweating, they know that you're nervous. But I got through it. If you're called a rat, a snitch, an informant, and things get smoothed over, you can't just blow it off, because it's like, how come you're not ticked off? So I had to do something, to keep my respect and credibility. Now, I knew one of the rules was that you can't lay your hands on a made guy, no matter what, because that's one of the things that'll get you killed. So, unfortunately for the non-made guy, I had to throw him a beating. The years that I spent undercover, I was isolated from everybody in my past. I had very little contact with my family outside of the first 8 or 9 months. First 8 or 9 months, I'd get to see them maybe once a week or something. And then after I really infiltrated, for the last 5 years, it was maybe once every 4 or 5, sometimes 6 months, I'd get to see them. It was difficult because, you don't see your children grow up, and all the important things of a kid growing up you miss, you don't see. And the kids don't understand that, They know you're working, but it doesn't make any difference to them. They don't comprehend that your work is more important than your family life. Not that it is, but, when you're in that type of situation, you don't have much choice. When my 6-year undercover operation terminated, lack of a better word, the FBI went to Sonny, since he was my capo, and told him who I was. Because, look, we knew that he probably was going to get killed, Lefty was going to get killed. At some point in time, this guy by the name of Tony Mira, who was the first Manano guy that brought me around, was going to get killed. So the FBI went to Sonny's and told him it was really an undercover operation. They didn't believe it. They kicked it around. They sent guys out looking for me. And then it finally dawned on him that I probably was. So Sonny had to go now tell the upper administration of the family and the other families what was going on. And that was 17 days later, and they killed him. Found him, they had cut off his hands, and the lesson in that is that he had introduced me to Boston, Florida, Lefty Ruggiero, he was on his way to get killed, and the FBI snatched him off the street. Tony Mira got killed about 6-8 months later. I didn't want to see anybody get killed. I didn't want to see Sonny get killed. I didn't want to see Lefty get killed. I mean, my job was to put him in jail. The only thing I missed, like a regret, is that the Bureau didn't let me get made. Just think of the devastation if we could have said that they inducted an FBI agent into the family. The commission decided to put out a contract on me, and the offer was $500,000. When the contract was put out, what happened was the FBI went to all the bosses in New York City and advised them that it wouldn't be in their best interest to have any of their guys carry out this hit. From a law enforcement standpoint, I think the effort was well worth it because it was the first deep infiltration of any Mafia family. It was the first time an agent had gotten this close to various Mafia families. First time an agent was proposed for membership. And what happened, it started that snowball rolling that they could be brought down. From a personal standpoint, a lot of sacrifice.